All right, here we go. I am doing a bit of another nature POV today. It's getting close to golden hour here, so hoping to get some photos of the light kind of peeking through in the forest here. Get some shots of some nature, so let's get right into it. Yeah, so already just like a couple steps in here, we've got this nice light coming in. Let's get even just a bit lower, maybe go vertical here. And we'll bring the aperture a bit higher up so we can get everything a bit more in focus. Something like that should work. Let's try right here, zoomed in on this bunch of trees. Wait for the light to kind of peek around the corner. You can kind of see it just barely there. I've just got on the kit lens for the Sony A7IV right now, but I've also got a 70 to 200 in my bag, so we might whip that out at some point if we want to switch things up. We've got some great moss on this. It's not really a log, but just this plank here. See if we can get in close. Something like that. Hi. It's cool to see all the lights coming from behind me, but all these little patches of sunlight that ends up hitting the trees is cool. I kind of like just this little trail area here, kind of through the trees, with that light coming in from the right on a couple of trees over there in the distance. Let's see if we can catch the light through these leaves on the tree. We'll venture off the path just slightly here. Maybe get a bit lower. See if we can get that focus on the leaf. And I might even get a couple steps closer here and then just really get right up close to the tree and kind of play with the light. Move around a lot to see where that looks best and then snap the photo. I haven't used this kit lens in a while actually. Ever since I got the 7200, it has been my personal favorite by far between the two. So it's kind of nice to mix things up a little bit, get a different perspective, and kind of get out of the comfort zone of my favorite for just a little. Let's see if a photo can capture this little patch of light well. There might be a bit too much going on. Maybe if we get just a couple steps closer here. My ISO is way too high. Hopefully everything hasn't been too grainy since then. This is super interesting. It's like a tree growing on an old tree. Might be tough to capture it in an interesting way, but maybe just head on. Nothing too special, but I thought the subject was cool. Looking back at where we came from, I like how this trail kind of zigzags through, but I'm not sure if in a photo that will really come through, but the mud puddles might help create some form on it just a little bit, maybe enough to kind of veer the eye through that, but I might be asking too much of that one. We've got some great color and texture on this tree here with all this moss just kind of leading the way all the way up, and then it's even got these like leaves along the side that poke out. We'll try one with an aperture that just kind of focuses on one little area here to get that depth of field in the back, and then let's try one that can kind of get this image captured a little bit more as a full cohesive piece. And I like this little log here as well. Didn't make it far without finding something else, but this middle point just kind of creates this subject in between all this color and texture. Just something like that, getting in close. And maybe we go back to this wide option here for us, with the sun just kind of creeping in through those trees in the back. Trying to get the aperture kind of as high as we can to keep everything in focus there. And we've got the highlights on the bottom left, which kind of help tell the story of the light coming in from behind. I like this frame too. We've got the trail, but then the tree in the middle can kind of separate it just a little bit, keep it a little interesting. Zoom out just a touch to get a bit more area in the front there. Let's see if we can get close in on these bushes here and catch some of the different lighting patterns that are kind of coming across them. We'll just get kind of right up in the middle of them here. And it's okay if it's a bit too dark. Let's see if we can catch it from a different angle where the light is playing a bit more of a role. Like here, we've got a bit more of that light and dark contrast to play with. Let's try another from up here. So the first photo didn't have enough of that like dynamic range between that top highlight and the darkest shadow. So I wanted to kind of show that off a bit more with a different frame there. And I think we'll do kind of a look-up shot here. Not sure if you can see that, but we've got a pretty cool tree in this area. Get some of those details from the sky in it as well. Oh, look at this little, is it a mushroom or something? That's kind of a cool little subject. Do another shot on the edge of a log here. Maybe we just get up close and try not to get the whole thing. So I wanted to do this, but it's always tough with circles. Because to get the whole circle and frame, you've got to include all sorts of things around the edges. Didn't like that as much, so just zoomed in and grabbed the subject I wanted. And look at all this moss over here too. I'm not gonna climb too far in, but maybe we can just get a quick little landscape photo of all of it combined in an area here. And then this is a great opportunity to grab these textures, but then also include the sun coming in, which we talked about earlier. If we can just get low enough. We'll see if that turns out to be anything. Yeah, look at all this like hanging moss. It's like those, it's definitely not the scientific name, but I used to call them like weeping willow trees when I was a kid, with all the leaves just kind of floating down from the top. I'm debating on when I should swap to the 7200, because there's a lot of things I could zoom in here, but some of these wide shots just can't be replicated with something that's more zoomed in. Let's get a wide shot here. Just of the whole forest. We can grab one of this little world down here. Move ahead of this bush and just focus on this log coming down the middle of the pathway here. Something like that. Oh, this is a great little trail. We've got the trail that you can kind of follow with your eyes down the photo, but then there's also this nice light coming in from the right side to kind of help balance the weight a little bit. And I think right here, I'm going to switch over. My eye keeps noticing a lot of little things I want to capture, but I just can't zoom in. So we might switch back, but let's quickly swap to the 7200 lens. All right, here we go. And I kind of want to backtrack just a little bit. I saw these pine cones, these little mini pine cones. They were in the light when I saw them, but it looks like they've maybe moved just a touch. And this aperture can get much lower, which is always fun. And we can really just get in and up close on our subjects, which I've got to admit is one of my favorite things to do. So now we switch our mindset just a little bit to, we can zoom in a bit more than we could before. Let's see if we can catch some of these pieces of moss with the light coming on them. It's okay, good, not great, I would say. The background wasn't doing us any favors with helping us highlight the subject there. And again, this is where I wish we had the wide ends. This is something every photographer can relate to. But I like all these kind of strands of lighting coming through the trail, or coming through the trees onto the trail here. So let's scoot back just a bit. See if we can capture it with this lens. Bump the aperture just a bit so that the trees in the background and up near the top of the photo are not too blurry and can kind of help build that frame just a little bit. Oh, look at the light coming down. I have no idea what these plants are, but they've got these cool little buds on them that we can probably get in close and get a nice photo of. Try a different angle here. Get some of that bouquet in the background with the light that's sitting back there. And we'll go just as wide as we can with this. It's not going to be everything. I want to grab one of these dogs here. Got a big fluffy white one and a small fluffy white one. We've got all these little, like tiny little baby ferns or something down here in this bundle, which I think is cool to kind of get up close on, even though it kind of feels like we should use a low aperture for this to get focused on something small. A bigger aperture actually helps us out a bit more because we're already zooming in close, and so now once we're close, we want everything to be in focus. Let's try the same thing just over here in this batch. And that's one of the things I do kind of love about nature photography is there's always a subject. Even if you're kind of looking around and don't see anything, if you just stop where you are and look around for a minute or two, you'll find something you can zoom in on and kind of take that macro photography shot. Let's see if we can catch the light through this tree. Kind of the similar shot as what we did before, but this time we're able to get a bit closer in on our subject. See if we can find an angle here that works with us just a bit better. Let's see if we can somehow capture all this lighting, not necessarily where it's coming from, but how it's impacting the different subjects over here. Look at all this texture on this tree. The bark is super interesting. It's almost like scales or something. The lighting's not perfect for us, but let's see if we can just get a photo kind of emphasizing the texture on this. And again, with this lighting, just where it's landing on all these different subjects here. See if we can catch another through these trees here. Keep the aperture high, keep everything in focus. This is a nice little log we can track all the way down. Let's just grab the lighting on the edge of this tree. I just want the tree in the frame for as much as we can control. So keeping the right side just tight to the tree here. And then really keeping the light as the subject. And then maybe these ferns with the light as well. That's a good one, I like that shot. It's got this nice little edge of light on this log. Maybe capture, maybe through this kind of line. There's all these spider webs that kind of shine and reflect the light a bit. Not sure if they will come through the photo though, as they do in real life. For some reason, this little stump is getting my attention. I like all the moss on it. I like it. Sometimes it's those kind of weird, quirky photos that we like, that we can't really describe too much. Try and capture one through this light just a bit. And I think we'll try another, just a wide shot here. It'd be nice if there was a person or a biker or something in that area, but that is no problem. Like these ferns down here have some really nice lighting. We get those lens flares, but that's okay. Probably can't see this too well, but kind of using the sun to just silhouette that fern leaf a little bit. Like here, we've got all this moss texture, these weird kind of shapes, and then the sun in the background. Is there any way that we can kind of put it all together? Maybe something like that, but shadows might be a bit too dark. That could work though, kind of bring it all together like that. And here we've got these long shadows again. Can we be wide enough to kind of capture them? Let's go back a bit. Maybe use this little rock as our subject here. And we'll keep the aperture low on that one, just to really, oh, it's not even a rock, it's a little stump, but the end of the log, if that's purely in focus, then kind of helps bring the attention to that. Yeah, this has got some really nice light on the side of this tree here. I love the light on all this moss. It really kind of reflects nicely. And again, we've got the sun in the background. See if we can use that at all. And even if the light is not exactly in the picture, or the sun, I guess, it creates all these highlights, this glow around all the subjects. I'm a sucker for these little fern leaves. Let's go for this shot again. Not exactly sure where we took it from last time, but I feel like it was a bit closer than this, so let's try it a bit farther out. Something like that could be nice. And we've got a nice patch of light coming through the tree line here. That's a cool shot. I like that one. And then maybe we just get in up close to just kind of grabbing some of this texture. That should really come through nicely with the light shining on it. And I just passed this log, but look at all these little stumps that we can use to, we can kind of frame something at the end there using these stumps as sort of a natural framing for that leaf at the back. Can grab these leaves that are using the light. Got really nice textures, colors on this again. Probably a similar photo to things we've already taken, but that's okay. We can play with this light coming onto the bottom of this tree here. That's a good one. I like that one. Let's see if we can get in close to kind of these blades on the leaves. And I like the look of these trees up here. Kind of leaning on each other, but very different looks to the both of them. They've got a little opposites attract relationship going on. And I think that will call it. I appreciate you guys watching and staying till the end. If you have something specific you'd like me to take photos of in the future, let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like or subscribe if you're interested in watching anything else. I've got a bunch of other videos made, and I'm releasing a new video every Saturday morning. So be sure to tag along if you're interested in anything and everything photography. We're learning lots along the way and sharing with everyone. So I'll see you next time.